Good morning, students. Today we are going to study the remaining points of this chapter, atomic structure. This is the third lecture on the topic atomic structure, and the points today we are going to study are quantum numbers, electronic configuration of elements according to Bohr principle, Pauli's exclusion principle, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, etc. So first of all, see what are quantum numbers. So quantum numbers are nothing but the identification numbers which fully describe an electron in an atom. So this is the definition of quantum numbers. So the quantum numbers are nothing but the identification numbers that fully means completely describe an electron in an atom, that are nothing but the quantum numbers. And there are four quantum numbers. First is the principal quantum number, which is denoted by letter n. Second is the azimuthal quantum number, which is denoted by letter small l. Third is the magnetic quantum number, which is denoted by the letter small m. And last is the spin quantum number, which is denoted by letter s. So let us see one by one. First is the principal quantum number, which is denoted by letter n. So this principal quantum number that denotes the principal shell, that means the major energy level to which the electron belongs. And this principal quantum number represents the average size of the electron cloud. It means the average distance of electron from the nucleus. The principal quantum number n can have non-zero positive integral values, means the values that lies from 1, 2, 3, etc., increasing by integral numbers up to infinity. An electron with n equals to 1 means when the principal quantum number is 1 or first energy level, which is the lowest energy and is found to be most firmly to the nucleus, means it is closely to the nucleus. Now let us see the principal quantum numbers that are denoted by the letter n, and their values may be on the integral values and they are non-zero, that starts from the 1, 2, 3, etc. They may be denoted by the another one letters, these energy levels like K, L, M, N, all are the capital letters. And the maximum number of electrons that are accommodated in these energy levels or principal quantum numbers, they are calculated using this formula twice n square rule. And therefore in the first energy level or principal quantum number 1, the maximum number of electrons that are accommodated is equals to 2, because the value of n is 1 and square of 1 is 1, so 2 into 1, that is equals to 2. Whereas in the second energy level or when the principal quantum number is 2, the number of electrons accommodated that are equals to 8. So here twice n square, as the value of n is 2, so square of 2 is 4 and 4 into 2, that means equals to 8. So in this way we can calculate the maximum number of electrons that are accommodated in each energy level or in each principal quantum number. Similarly in this particular, say here n equals to 7, or when the principal quantum number is 7, then the maximum number of electrons that are accommodated in this is equals to twice n square. Twice n square means that the value of n is 7, so square of 7 is 49 and 2 into 49, that is equals to 98. So 98 electrons are accommodated in the 7th principal quantum number or 7th energy level. So this is about the principal quantum number. Now second is the azimuthal quantum number, which is denoted by letter small l. It is also known as secondary or subsidiary or orbital or angular quantum number. So these are the various names that are used for the azimuthal quantum number, like secondary, subsidiary, orbital, or angular quantum number. And it defines, means this azimuthal quantum number defines the shape of the orbital occupied by the electron and the angular momentum of the electron. So this azimuthal quantum number defines the shape of the orbital and angular momentum of the electron. For any given value of principal quantum number n, the azimuthal quantum number L may have all integral values from 0 to n minus 1, each of which refers to an energy sublevel or subshell. It means for any principal quantum number, suppose n, azimuthal quantum number L may have all integral values that lies in the range of 0 to n minus 1, and each is known as the energy sublevel or energy subshell. The total number of such sublevels or energy sublevels or subshells that are possible in each principal level or principal quantum number is numerically equals to principal quantum number of the level under consideration, and these sublevels are denoted or symbolized by letters like S, P, D, F, etc. That are the small letters used to indicate these sublevels or subshells. For example, here suppose the principal quantum number is here n equals to 1, then how many azimuthal quantum number values are possible? 0 to n minus 1, that is only one value that is equal to 0, means 1 minus 1 is 0. So only one value for the azimuthal quantum number is possible, and its value is here 0. So thus there is only one possible subshell, and it is denoted by letter S. So it can be denoted by these two quantum number, that is n equals to 1, that is the first energy level, and its subshell is L equal to 0, that is nothing but the S subshell. For example, consider second, if the principal quantum number is here n equals to 2, then there are two possible values that lies from 0 to n minus 1, that is first is the 0 and second is the 2 minus 1, that is equal to 1. Means L equal to 0 and L equals to 1. These are the two possible values for the azimuthal quantum number when n equals to 2. And these two subshells are nothing but the second energy levels, and these subshells are designated or denoted as 2s, and its quantum numbers are denoted in bracket n equals to 2 and L equals to 0. Means main energy level is 2 and subshell, that is the S, so it is the 2s, and second is the 2p, means here n equals to 2, means principal quantum number is 2 and azimuthal quantum number, that is L equals to 1, so it is the p, means when L equal to 0 it is the S, and when L equals to 1 it is the p. Now here for different values of principal quantum number, the possible subshells are here given, that is when n equals to 1, L equals to 0, it is denoted as 1s subshell. When n equals to 2, means principal quantum number equals to 2, then it has two possible azimuthal quantum number values, that is L equal to 0 and L equals to 1. So here this L equal to 0 means yes, and as the principal quantum number or major energy level is 2, so it is the 2s subshell. And here when L equals to 1, it is the second subshell, that is the p, and as the n equals to 2 means this is the 2p subshell or subshell or energy level. When the principal quantum number, that is n equals to 3, it has three possible value, that is L equals to 0, then L equals to 1 and L equals to 2, means its values lies from 0 to n minus 1. So here n L equals to 0 means S subshell or S orbital, and as it is from the third energy level, that is n equal to 3, so this is the 3s subshell. When L equals to 1, it is the p orbital or p subshell, and as it is from the third energy level n equals to 3, so it is the 3p subshell or 3p orbital. When L equals to 2, it is the 3d. Similarly, when n equals to 4, there are 4 values for the azimuthal quantum number, and they are the L equals to 0, L equals to 1, L equals to 2, and L equals to 3. We know that L equals to 0 means the S subshell, and it is from the fourth energy level, n equal to 4, so it is the 4s. When L equals to 1, that is for the p orbital or p subshell, and it is from the fourth energy level, so it is 4p. When L equals to 2, it is the 4d, and when L equals to 3, it is the 4f. Similarly, when n equals to 5 means the energy level fifth or quantum number n, that is equals to here 5, then it has 5 possible values for the azimuthal quantum numbers, that is L equal to 0, L equals to 1, L equals to 2, L equals to 3, and L equals to 4. Means the values for the azimuthal quantum number for each value for the principal quantum number lies from 0 to n minus 1. So 0 to n minus 1, as n is 5, so n minus 1 means 4. So these are the 5 values possible for the azimuthal quantum number or subshells. So here L equal to 0 means the s orbital, and it is from the fifth energy level, so it is 5s. Similarly, L equals to 1, it is 5p. L equals to 2, here 5d. L equals to 3, 5f, and L equals to 4 means 5g. So for a given principal quantum number, the order of increasing energy of different subshells is S is smaller than P, P is smaller than D, and D is smaller than F, except for hydrogen. So these are the energy levels in the order of increasing energy of different subshells. Now the third quantum number, that is here magnetic quantum number, which is denoted by letter small m. Now this quantum number has been proposed to account for the splitting of spectral lines, that is the Zeeman effect. Means when these spectral lines that are in the presence of magnetic field, they get splitted, and that effect is known as Zeeman effect. So splitting of spectral lines under the influence of strong external magnetic field, that is known as the Zeeman effect. And when an atom is kept in a strong magnetic field, then electrons with the same values of principal quantum number n and azimuthal quantum number L may still differ in their behavior, and therefore they are differentiated by introducing a new quantum number, which is known as magnetic quantum number, denoted by letter small m. It is also known as orientation quantum number. This magnetic quantum number is also known by another one name, that is the orientation quantum number, because it gives the orientation, or we can say the distribution of the electron cloud. So alternative name of magnetic quantum number is orientation quantum number. Now let's see, for each value of L, that is the azimuthal quantum number, the magnetic quantum number m may assume all integral values between plus L to minus L through 0. For example, suppose for each value of L, there will be twice L plus 1 values of m. For example, consider here, when L equals to 0, it is the s orbital, then there is only one value for m. This means that for each value of principal quantum number n, there is only one orientation for L equal to 0, means azimuthal quantum number is equal to 0, and there is only one s orbital, that is the suborbital, or you can say that subshell. So for s orbital, there is only one orientation. It means that this orbital must be spherically symmetrical about the nucleus, as there is only one orientation. This indicates that s orbital is symmetrically spherical or spherically symmetrical about the nucleus. So there is only one spherically symmetrical orbital for each value of n whose radius depends upon the value of n, that is the principal quantum number, small letter n. So it can be shown like this. This is the s orbital, that is the first 1s, means from the first energy level, this is the 1s orbital, and when there is second energy level, then this is the 2s orbital. This one is the 1s orbital and this is the 2s orbital, which is denoted by yellow color circle. And this particular space between these two orbitals, it is called node, and there is no possibility of finding the electron in this particular node. So electron can be found in this particular yellow colored space, or it is the s orbital, which is spherically symmetrical. So spherically symmetrical s orbital disposed about the nucleus. For example, suppose here L equals to 1, means here the p orbital. Then the m or magnetic quantum number will have three values, that are the +1, 0 and -1. Plus L to minus L, that is the range of these values through 0. So there are three values for the magnetic quantum number when the azimuthal quantum number L equals to 1. As L equals to 1, it is the p orbital. So the three values of magnetic quantum number when L equals to 1 are +1, 0 and -1. So there are three orientations for p orbitals, and these three types of p orbitals differ only in the values of magnetic quantum number, and they are designated or denoted as px, py and pz depending upon the axis of orientation. The subscripts x, y and z, they are known as the coordinate axes. In the absence of magnetic field, means when the magnetic field is absent, then these three p orbitals, that is px, py and pz, they are equivalent in energy, and when these three p orbitals are at equivalent in energy, then they are called threefold degenerate or triply degenerate orbitals. In the presence of an external magnetic field, the relative energies of the p orbitals vary depending upon their orientation, or we can say that depending upon their magnetic quantum number. And this explains the existence of more spectral lines under the influence of external magnetic field. So it helps the explanation of the presence or existence of more spectral lines under the influence of external magnetic field. The p orbitals are dumbbell shaped, means that consists of two lobes, and these two lobes extend outwards away from the nucleus along the axial line. Thus, the two lobes of p orbitals may be separated by a plane that contains a nucleus, and this plane is perpendicular to the corresponding axis. Such plane is called nodal plane, and there is no possibility of finding the electron on this particular plane. For example, for px orbital, the py plane, yz plane is the nodal plane. Now let us see here diagrammatically. These are the px, py and pz orbitals. Now here this is the px orbital, this is along the x-axis, its orientation is along the x-axis, and it is dumbbell shaped, and these lobes are outwards or away from the nucleus. And this yz plane, it is known as the nodal plane, and in this yz plane there is no possibility of finding the electron. Similarly, for the py orbital, this is the py orbital, and this xz plane in which this nucleus also belongs. This xz plane is known as nodal plane, and there is no possibility of finding the electron. And finally, for the pz orbital, the xy plane means this xy plane, this xy plane is nodal plane, and there is no possibility of finding the electron. So this is the pz orbital. This is the dumbbell shaped pz orbital. Now consider second example. When L equals to 2, it means when the azimuthal quantum number L equals to 2, it is the d orbital, and the magnetic quantum numbers are here 5, means their values are here twice L plus 1. That is the rule to calculate the number of, say here, magnetic quantum numbers for each value of azimuthal quantum number. So as the value of azimuthal quantum number is 2, so 2 into 1 plus 1, that is equals to 5. Sorry, 2 is to L. 2L means 2 into 2, 4 plus 1, that is 5. And these 5 values are here, that lies in the range of plus L to minus L through 0, and that are shown here. This is the plus 2, then plus 1, 0, minus 1 and minus 2. These are the 5 values possible for the L equals to 2 values for the magnetic quantum numbers. Thus there are 5 possible orientations for d orbitals, and these 5 d orbitals are equivalent in energy when there is external magnetic field is absent. Means we can say that when so long as the atom is not under the influence of magnetic field, and such d orbitals are known as 5-fold degenerate orbitals. The 5 d orbitals are designated as dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square minus y square and dz square, and these orbitals have complex geometrical shapes as compared to p orbitals. The shape of dz orbital is somewhat different from the other d orbitals. Now let us see the shapes of d orbitals. So these are the shapes of the d orbitals. This is the shape of dxy orbital. These are the dxy orbital, x and y. See, this is the dxz orbital. This is the shape of dyz orbital. This one is the shape of dx square minus y square orbital, and this one is the shape of dz square orbital, which is different from the remaining 4 d orbitals. Now let's consider the next example. When the value of L equals to 3, that is nothing but the azimuthal quantum number L equals to 3, then how many magnetic quantum numbers are possible for this one? According to twice L plus 1 rule, that is 2 into 3 means 6 plus 1, that are the 7. So here 7 magnetic quantum numbers are possible, and these are here plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 0, and then here minus 1 minus 2 and minus 3. So these are the 7 magnetic quantum numbers are possible when the azimuthal quantum number L equals to 3, or it is known as the f orbital. Means there are 7 f orbitals, and their shapes are so many complicated as compared to f orbitals. So there are 7 orientations. These 7 orientations give rise to a set of 7-fold degenerate orbitals when the external magnetic field is absent. Means all the 7 d orbitals are at equal energy levels in absence of magnetic field, and when there is the presence of magnetic field, or when the atom is kept in an external magnetic field, then these 7 f orbitals, they are found to be at different energy levels depending upon their value of magnetic quantum number, or you can say that orientation. These 7 orbitals possess very complicated shapes and orientation in space. The shapes of s, p and d orbitals only are of interest to chemists. and not for the f orbitals. So we have already seen the shapes of sp and d orbitals. Now let's see again the shapes of sp and d orbitals. This is the shape of s orbital, which is spherical, or it is spherically symmetrical about the nucleus. It is the s orbital. The shapes of p orbitals. So these are the shapes of p orbitals, which are dumbbell shaped. This is the shape of 2px orbital, this is the shape of 2py orbital, and this is the shape of 2pz orbital. And the shapes of d orbitals, they are this one. This is the shape of dxy orbital, this is the shape of dxz orbital, this is the shape of dyz orbital, and this is the shape of dx square minus y square orbital, and this is the shape of dz square orbital, which is different from the previous 4 d orbitals. Now the last quantum number, that is known as here spin quantum number, which is denoted by letter small s, and this quantum number is introduced to account for the spin of electrons about their own axis. Since the electron can spin clockwise or anti-clockwise, that is the two opposite directions, then there are two possible values for s, means spin quantum number, and they are equal and opposite, means they are denoted by the symbol plus or minus half. So as quantum numbers can differ only by unity, means 1, from each other, there are two values given to s. S means spin quantum number. They are plus half and minus half, depending upon whether the electron spins in one direction, means clockwise, or in other direction, that is the anti-clockwise. And these spins are also designated, means denoted by arrows pointing upwards and downwards, as shown like this one. Now let us see the clockwise and anti-clockwise spins of electrons about their own axis that produces the magnetic field. So this is the spinning of the electron that you may consider in clockwise direction, that is shown by say here half, and that produces the magnetic field. This is the spin of electron in anti-clockwise direction, that is shown by minus half, and both spinning that produces the magnetic field in opposite direction. Thus the two electrons having opposite signs of spin quantum numbers are called opposite spins or antiparallel spins, or you can say that paired up spin. On the other hand, when the two electrons have same sign of the spin quantum number, they are called here parallel spins. Now here the spinning charge, we know that here spinning charge is associated with magnetic field, means any charged body when it is undergo spinning, that produces the magnetic field. Similarly here an electron is charged body or particle that must have magnetic moment associated with it, and the permitted values for each of these quantum numbers and electron accommodation are given in this particular table. Now let's see here. This is the principal quantum number, that is denoted by letter n. Azimuthal quantum number denoted by letter small l. Magnetic quantum number denoted by letter small m. This is a spin quantum number denoted by letter small s. And this column, that is for the number of electrons accommodated in each energy level or principal quantum number. For the first principal quantum number, or when n equals to 1, that is also denoted by k shell. So there is only one value for the azimuthal quantum number, that is nothing but the L equal to 0, and when L equals to 0, that is the S subshell. And in this particular S shaped shell, there are only two electrons are possible that have the opposite spins, that is plus half and minus half. So number of electrons accommodated in the first energy level, that is equals to 2. in the second energy level, or when the principal quantum number is 2, then there are these two azimuthal quantum number values, that is 0 and 1. And when L equals to 0 means azimuthal quantum number L equals to 0, that will be S subshell, and when L equals to 1, that will be P subshell. And we know here in the S subshell, the spin quantum numbers that are, it has only one value, that will be 0 for spin 1, and there are only two possible electrons. One is spinning in clockwise direction and other one is in anti-clockwise. So there are two electrons in this particular, say here, subshell, yes. And in this P subshell there are 6 electrons, as the spin quantum numbers that are here, 3 values, that is +1, 0 and -1. So each one has two possibility of spinning, that is clockwise and anti-clockwise, that is +12 and -12, means there are 2 electron +2 +2. So there are 6 electrons in this particular P subshell. So 2 plus 6 means that are the 8 electrons accommodated in the second energy level, that is n equals to 2. Similarly, for the third energy level, or when principal quantum number is 3, or the shell M, in this shell M, the possible azimuthal quantum numbers are here 3, that is 0, 1 and 2. The subshells, they are S, P, D. We know 2 electrons are present in the S subshell, 6 in the D, and in this particular D there are 5 these spin quantum number values, that is nothing but this +2 +1, 0, -1 and -2, and there are 2 electrons that are accommodated in this particular +2, that is spinning is clockwise and anti-clockwise. So 2 +2 +2 +2 +2, so 5 into 2 means 10. So in this particular third energy level there are 2 plus 6 plus 10 means total 18 electrons. Similarly, for the fourth energy level there are 32 electrons that are accommodated. So this table that indicates the quantum numbers and electron accommodation in each, say here, principal quantum number or main energy level. Now let us solve some numericals or problems. So first problem is here, like this one may be asked in exam, that is list all possible values for L. L means the azimuthal quantum number, and M, that is the magnetic quantum number, for n equals to 2, means when principal quantum number is 2. Now here the solution, we know that here the principal quantum number is n equals to 2. So the azimuthal quantum number L can have only two values, that is the 0 and 1. And you know that when L equals to 0, M means magnetic quantum number has only one value, that is the 0. And when L equals to 1, the magnetic quantum number M have 3 values, that is according to the rule twice L plus 1, and they are +1, 0 and -1. So these are the possible values for the L and M, that is azimuthal quantum number and magnetic quantum number, for the principal quantum number 2, or when n equals to 2. Now let's see second example that may be asked in exam, like this one. Which of the following sets of quantum numbers are not allowed and why? Means we have to give the reason. So first set is here, n equals to 2 means principal quantum number 2, azimuthal quantum number L equals to 2, magnetic quantum number 0, and S is +12. So when this set is given, so when n equals to this value is not possible, that is L equals to 2 is not possible, therefore this set of 4 quantum number is not allowed or not allowable. This n equals to 3 and L equals to 1, M0 and S -12, so this set is possible. But if we consider this third set, when the principal quantum number n equals to 1, then this value is not possible, that is L equals to 1. So you know value lies from 0 to n minus 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0, means L must have here only one value, that is the 0. So this set is not allowed. This fourth set, n equals to L equals to 0 and m equals to -1, this value is not allowed here, and s equal to 0, it is also not allowed. So this fourth set is not allowed. And fifth set, that is n equal to 3, L equals to 2 and m equals to +2, and s spin quantum number is -half. So fourth set is allowable or allowed. Now let us see the third example that may also asked in examination, like this one. What designations are given to the orbitals having these values? There are values given, means 4 examples are given. That is, first is when n equals to 2 and L equals to 1. So what designation is to be given to this particular orbital? So we know that n equals to 2, that indicates the main energy level, and L equals to 1 means we know that when L equals to 0, that is the s orbital, and L equals to 1 means that will be p. When L equals to 2, that is the d. So when n equals to 2, this is 2, and L is 1, that is the p. So it is denoted by this letter, that is the 2p. When n equals to 1 and n 0, 1 and L equal to 0 means yes, this is the 1s. When n equals to 3, it is third energy level, L equals to 2 means that is the d. So this is the 3d. And last is n equal to 4 means fourth energy level, and L equals to 3, that is the f. So it is the fourth f orbital. So these are the designations given to this set of quantum numbers. Now the next important point is here, arrangement of electrons in orbits according to Bohr-Bury scheme, or it is also known as distribution of electrons in orbits. So these are the important rules for the distribution of electrons in orbits. So the first rule is the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in a shell is equals to twice n square, where n indicates the principal quantum number or main energy level. So this rule gives the number of electrons, means maximum number of electrons that are accommodated in a given shell. You know here the value of n, that is n is nothing but the principal quantum number. It is also known as the serial number of the shell from the nucleus. So electrons may go into new outer shell although the inner shells are incompletely filled. So this is the second rule. So this rule states that electrons may go into the new outer shell although the inner shell is incompletely filled. Means if the inner shell is incompletely filled, the electron may also go into the new outer shell. The third rule states that the outermost shell cannot have more than 8 electrons, and the next inner, that is the next inner means that is the penultimate shell, cannot have more than 18 electrons. So this rule states that outermost shell cannot have more than 8 electrons, and the next inner means penultimate shell cannot more than 18 electrons. Outermost shell that contains maximum 8 electrons, and penultimate shell that contains 18 electrons. This is the third rule. Next rule states that here, if the capacity of the penultimate shell exceeds 8, it cannot have more than 8 electrons unless there are 2 electrons in the outermost shell. So 2 electrons must be present in the outermost shell. And the next rule states that here, it cannot have more than 9 electrons, this penultimate shell, that cannot have 9 electrons unless the anti-penultimate shell, it means the shell immediately preceding the penultimate shell, is completely filled. In such cases, the outermost shell can have more than 2 electrons only after 18 electrons in the penultimate shell. Now let's see the examples of electronic configuration of inert gas by Bohr-Bury rule. So these are shown here for the inert gas electronic configuration. The elements from the inert gas, they are the here helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Their atomic numbers are given here 2, 10, 18, 36, 54 and 86 respectively. Now these are the shells that goes in the increasing energy level from left to right, KLMNOP. Okay. Now for helium there are 2 electrons, so both the electrons are accommodated in this first energy level K. Then the second energy level, that is when principal quantum number is here 1, that is K. There are 2 electrons and remaining in the second energy level. Then argon here 2, 8, 8. This is the electronic configuration for the argon. For krypton it is 2, 8, 18, 8. For xenon it is 2, 8, 18, 18 and 8. And for radon it is 2, 8, 18, 32, 18, 8. So this is the electronic configuration of inert gases by Bohr-Bury rule. Now let us see Hund's rule or Hund's principle of maximum multiplicity. This is the next point in this chapter. Now this rule states that electrons are distributed among the orbitals of a subshell in such a way so as to give the maximum number of unpaired electrons and have the same direction of spin. So Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity states that the distribution of electrons is possible in such a way that it gives the maximum number of unpaired electrons and they have the same direction of spin. So the orbitals here, they are shown by the circles, and order of filling of the first 10 electrons is indicated by the numbers entered in them as shown below. Now these circles, this indicates the orbitals. Now the when here n equals to 1, that is the first energy level, there is only one subshell, that is the 1s, and this is the second energy level, principal quantum number, n equals to 2. So it has 4 subshells, one is 2s, then 3 2p orbitals. Now the electrons are entered in this one, in this sequence, that is first and then second in the first, as it is in the ground state or lower energy level. Then third electron enters in the 2s and fourth electron enters in the same 2s orbital. Then as the energy goes on increasing, then electron enters in the fifth electron enters in the 2p orbital. So these 2px, 2py and 2pz, these electrons are at same energy level. So first of all, electrons are filled up like this one, 5th, 6th and 7th, means they are in unpaired form, and then pairing occurs from this one. 8th electron enters in the 2px, then 9th one in the 2py and 10th in the 2pz. So here is the pairing of electron occurs in the p orbitals. So this shows the order of filling of electrons in orbitals of n equals to 1 and n equals to 2, means principal quantum number 1 and 2. Now the next is the bow principle. So bow is the green word and its meaning is the building up, or it is known as the construction. And this principle tells the sequence in which various orbitals are filled with electrons according to bow principle. So in the ground state of the atoms, the orbitals are filled with electrons in the order of increasing energies. It means electrons first of all enters in the low energy orbits and then in the next energy orbit, means with increasing energies the orbitals are filled up. Each electron shell can hold a maximum of twice n square electrons. This is already known to us in Bohr-Bury scheme. And electrons enter the orbitals according to the rule which is known as n plus L rule. Means lower the value of n plus L, electron first enters in them. So this is called n plus L rule. So these two rules are important one to fill up the electrons in the orbitals. Twice n square, that indicates the maximum electrons in the main energy level, and the electrons enter in the orbitals by following this rule, that is n plus 1 rule. Now let us see some examples. First example is here. Orbitals are filled in the order of increasing value of n plus L. For example, consider here we have suppose 3d and 4s orbital. So which orbital is filled up first? So we have to follow this rule, n plus L rule. So according to n plus L rule, 3d orbital has the value of n equals to 3 and L equals to 2. So the addition of this 3 and 2, that is n plus L, that is equals to 5. For 4s orbital, here the value of n is 4, and as here is s means L equal to 0. So the addition of 4 and 0, that will be equals to 4. And therefore as the value of n plus L is here 4, it is lower as compared to this one for the 3d. Therefore the 4s orbital, this 4s orbital is less, or the value of this 4s orbital is less than the value of 3d orbital, and that's why 4s orbital is filled before filling the 3d orbital. Now next example, consider if we have two orbitals which have same value of n plus L, then which orbital is to be filled first? The orbital with lower value of principal quantum number n will be filled first. For example, consider here 3d and 4p orbitals we have. So let us see here, for 3d orbital we know n equals to 3 and L equals to 2. L indicates the azimuthal quantum number. So the addition of n plus L, that is 3 plus 2 equals to 5. Both, and here 4p orbital, here the n equal to 4 and L equals to 1. So this addition is also here 4 plus 1 equal to 5. Is this 3d and 4p, both these orbitals have same value, that is according to n plus L rule, 5 5. So the value of principal quantum number for the 4p orbital is more, and here for 3d orbital the value of principal quantum number n is 3. So this 3d orbital must be filled up before the 4p orbital. So according to this rule, the order of energy of different orbitals is shown or given here. So this is the order of energy of different orbitals which are to be filled by electrons. So it can be represented like this one. Also 1s, then electrons enters in 2s, then this 2p, 3s, then 3p, 4s, the 3d, 4p, 5s, then this 4d, 5p, 6s, then electron enters in this one. So this is the sequence, then in this way, then 6f, 7d, and this 7f. So this is the sequence or order of filling of the orbitals. So the electrons are accommodated in s, p, d and f orbitals. The maximum number of electrons in each type of orbitals are being determined by its electron holding capacity, and the electron holding capacity of s orbital is 2, p orbital is 6, d is 10 and f is 14. So these are the electron holding capacities of s, p, d and f orbitals. So in the ground state of an atom, the electrons tend to occupy the available orbitals in the increasing order of energies, the orbitals of lower energy being filled first, and this is nothing but the building up principle or bow principle. Now the last is the Pauli's exclusion principle. So this principle or this rule states that no two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 identical quantum numbers. It means that if you have 2 electrons, then the address of that two electrons is not same. Address, it means their set of 4 quantum number values, they are not same, they are different one. So in other words, it is nothing but this one: no two electrons in an atom can have same set of 4 identical quantum numbers. And this principle is useful in determining the maximum number of electrons that can occur in any quantum group. So this rule is useful in determining the maximum number of electrons that can occur in any quantum group. For example, let's see here for K shell. K shell means here n equals to 1. So when n equals to 1, the L means azimuthal quantum number have only one value, that is 0. So M have also only one value, that is 0. And S have either plus half or minus half. Thus there are two possibilities as shown here, that is n equals to 1, L equal to 0, M equal to 0, up to these 3 quantum numbers, that is principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number and magnetic quantum number. Up to these 3 quantum numbers have same values, but about this spin quantum number, one is plus half and other is minus half. So this is the set of 4 quantum numbers, that is nothing but the address of electron, or you can say that is the location of the electron. Now this shows that in the K shell there is only one subshell, that is nothing but the L equal to 0, which is known as S subshell, and there are only 2 electrons of opposite spins can be accommodated in this particular one subshell or 1s orbital. Only 2 electrons can be accommodated, and their address is this one for the first electron, and this is the address for the second electron. For example, consider here the L shell, means when principal quantum number is 2. So how many values for L can be possible here? That are the 2, that is 0 and 1. And M have 3 values, that is plus 1, 0 and minus 1. These are the 3 values. So S can have 2 values for each value of M. So here plus half and minus half. So these values that gives these possibilities, that gives the combination of 8 electrons of the 4 quantum numbers, keeping in view the exclusion principle. Means 2 electrons in the 2s and 6 electrons in the 2p. So total 8 electrons in the second energy level. Thus L shell can accommodate 8 electrons, 2 in the L equal to 0 means S subshell, and 6 in the L equals to 1, that means in the P subshell. So in this way we can show here this one, 2 electrons when n equals to 2, L equal to 0, M equal to 0, and this is the plus half and this is the minus half. So these are the 2 electrons that are present in the 2s orbital, and remaining 6 electrons, they are accommodated in the 2p orbital, and the address of the 6 electrons in the 2p orbitals, that is shown here. That is, first one is n equals to 2, L equals to 1 and M equals to minus 1. Here S equal to plus half. Then up to this one, this is the common, and here is the minus half. So here L equals to n equals to 2, L equals to 1 and M equal to 0, S equal to plus half. N equals to 2, L equals to 1, M equal to 0 and S equal to minus half. So all the sets of 4 quantum numbers have not the identical values. So this is nothing but the Pauli's exclusion principle. Now similarly, it can be shown that the M shell, means that is the next shell, they have 18 electrons. So 2 electrons in the S subshell, means here L equal to 0, 6 electrons in the P subshell, that is the equal to the L equals to 1, and 10 electrons in the D subshell, that is L equals to 2. So total 2 plus 6 plus 10, that is 18 electrons are accommodated in the third energy level. Thus the maximum number of electrons in a particular energy level can be calculated by using this formula, that is twice n square. So this is regarding the topic atomic structure. So today we have studied what do you mean by quantum numbers. We have studied 4 quantum numbers, that is principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and spin quantum numbers. We also studied the distribution of electrons, or we can say that electronic configuration of elements. We have studied the Bohr principle, Pauli's exclusion principle, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, and n plus 1 rule, n plus L rule. So in this way we have completed the chapter atomic structure. So thank you for watching the complete video. Keep it watching. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. So thank you once again for watching the complete video.